Imposter syndrome. What is it? How do we overcome it? Well, today we're going to talk about that. Welcome to the Friday Habit with Benjamin Manley and Mark Labriola II.
The Friday Habit is for creators, entrepreneurs, and agency owners looking for actionable ideas on how to grow their business and be more profitable.
We'll pull from our combined knowledge of over 20 years and interview thought leaders that will inspire you and give you the motivation you need to kick your business into high gear. Buckle up. It's Friday. Hey.
Hey, Mark.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Hey, today is a great day.
Today is a great day.
This is so nerdy, but I am so excited right now about this app. It blew my mind. I was like freaking out. I was talking to Whitney. We were in a meeting, and I saw this app, and it does something I've always wanted to be able to do.
What's the name of the app?
It's called Video Ask. It's Video Ask, and it's created by the team at Typeform.
Yeah, know those guys.
Yeah, so videoask.com. You should check it out. If you go to the How It Works page, there's a great video that actually talks about all this, probably more concisely than I can. So you can check that out. But the gist of it is, if you want to be able to collect feedback from someone and have them send you video or audio or text feedback on something, you can just send them a link and they can give it to you right away. So
wow.
For me, I've always wanted to have the ability to ask a client a question and them to be able to answer it in video format without them having to learn how to use a new app or download something. So now I can say, hey, can you give me your thoughts on this? Send them a link and they can record a video in their browser and send it right back.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty excited about that. And then there's so many other things it does that are great. Like instead of having a little, on websites, you'll see the little chat bot at the bottom right where you can talk to a live person, which is great. But this takes it to a new level where it actually has a little video in the bottom right that you can record and show your users and ask a question. And then from that, they can even choose a multiple choice answer. And then it shows them a new video based on what they've chosen. They can even send you a video back.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a choose your own adventure video communication tool. Yeah. Choose your own adventure video support. And you can, the people on your website can actually send you a video right there in the bottom corner of their screen. So they can say, hey, I'm looking for this, or they can send you audio, or they can send you a text message. So to me, this is just one more step of how do we like communicate even clearer with our clients. So I'm really excited to try it out.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and generate a random noun.
Let's do it.
So that someone could also leave a review, not a video one, but just a text one. Head over to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, click that 5-star button, and then click that write a review, the optional thing. Yeah, choose that option. All right. So today's random noun
is blood.
Wow. That is a random noun.
Yeah, I just pushed the button that says generate random noun. I don't have control over this. So
you sick freak.
So when you write a review for the podcast, I'll just give you some suggestions just off the top of my head of how you could use this. Maybe you could say something about the blood, sweat, and tears you put into your business are worth it because you listen to the Friday Habit and now you have Fridays to work on your business.
Oh, that's good. Or I was peeling my blood orange while I was listening to your last episode, and
those are some family-friendly ways you could use blood in your review of the podcast. So good luck with that.
Nice. Awesome. Well, hey, man, I'm excited to jump in today's topic. Imposter syndrome. Have you ever felt like a faker? Have you ever felt like you're insecure or lack confidence around what you were doing or the skills that you had?
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes we can feel like we don't deserve success, that anybody could do what we do and that we're not special. The technical definition for imposter syndrome is it can be defined as a collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist despite evidence of success. Imposters suffer from chronic self-doubt and a sense of intellectual fraudulence that override any feeling of success or external proof of their competence. And I think a lot of creatives deal with this. I think it's something that we're always comparing our work to somebody who's maybe better than us. We follow all these amazing creatives, and we'll create something and be like, "Oh, this is great." And then you see somebody else who does it better and you're like, "Mine's trash," and you just
Yeah,
you deal with this insecurity of never being good enough, or feeling like you're just copying somebody else, or that you're not unique enough.
right,
And there's kind of like two ways to overcome this imposter syndrome, and one of them I think is all about branding. It's all about developing your own personal brand and who you are, and having confidence in what you do, and then just taking ownership of that and kind of
right.
pushing into those things. There's that saying that's like, fake it until you make it,
Yeah.
where a lot of times you just commit to something and you jump in and you don't really know what you're doing, but you're just trying to figure it out. I've always said, fake it until you become it, because
Mm,
over time, if you do something enough, you'll actually start to become that thing. You'll become an expert in that thing.
yeah.
And so yeah, so we kind of have this 8 steps, I guess you could call it, to kind of develop your personal brand.
Yeah, it's kinda like you're yeah, I think what you're saying too is, like, kind of embodying what you wanna be, and you're not you shouldn't feel like an imposter if you actually are living to your values and, like, the things that you actually believe in and being true to those. So, just feeling inside, like, confident in living out what you actually care about. So, I think that's awesome. And actually,
Yeah.
I wanna mention one other thing too.
Yeah.
If you are feeling like, you're comparing yourself to other people, I would definitely check out our episode 7, which is dealing with business envy. That was another episode where we kinda talked about some of that stuff too, so that might be a good companion to this episode.
Yeah. And I think it's important to, separate feelings from fact. There's times where you may feel inadequate or feel stupid, but feelings aren't truth. To jump on in, step one, specialization. And I think this helps out a lot. Sometimes we're so divided on so many different things, especially as a creative. You may, do video editing, you may do graphic design, and you're kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah,
And so I think when you start to focus in on something, you can start having that confidence um, to describe what you do to people, and be clear and consistent with your messaging. And for instance, like if you wanted to be a designer that focused on logo design, like just say it, right?
yeah,
A lot of times you're like, yeah, I'm a designer, and
right,
whatever. But you may just want to specialize and say, because what you really want to do and what you really are passionate about and love is like logo design. And so
right,
you may just start introducing yourself as, hey, I'm a designer who specializes in logo design.
right,
I'm a logo
exactly.
designer,
Yeah,
you
like,
know?
say what you wanna become, even if you do other work at the time. Like, don't say like, "Oh, I'm a designer that's trying to do some photography on the side." Just say, "Hey, I am a photographer," because
Yeah.
you're doing some photography, embrace it, specialize, and it's so much easier for people to refer people to you if you pick a
Mhm.
niche. Like, I talk to people all the time, like, "Hey, would you send some business to us?" And I try to nail them down, like, "What's your absolute favorite type of project or industry you work in?" Because I wanna know when somebody says that in my mind, I want it to trigger and
Mhm.
I think, "Oh, you need a copywriter that does social media for real estate companies. I know the exact person." So it actually will help you get referrals rather than, kinda hold you back, even though sometimes people feel like specializing is gonna limit them. Usually, it just makes you more referable. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that totally makes sense as far as making it, making you feel like your personal brand, kinda making you feel more, confident if you just come out and say what your specialization is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling to come up with a specific thing, think about maybe, and this leads into number 2 is leadership. Is, where do you want to be a leader in your field? Like, where is
Mm.
it that you might say, well, I'm really good at public speaking, or I'm really good at directing? So
Mhm.
maybe you want to be a thought leader in a specific field. And so you can start getting involved in those kind of communities and presenting yourself as a thought leader in that specific field.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's number 2. Number 3, personality. I think this is a big one. This is one that I've always pushed into. Is just being genuine. Being yourself. I know it sounds kind of cliche. Be you. But I think a lot of times, if you just be yourself, you'll start to notice that people will gravitate towards you. I think as humans, we love authenticity, and we
Yeah.
love. I think we can pick up. I don't know if you've been to a networking event and you started talking with somebody, and there's just this sense of inauthenticity, and you just feel like they're trying too hard, or they're trying to be somebody they're not. And so when you want to develop your personal brand, I really think you just need to be yourself and then build around that. And that will bring you success, because really only you can be you, right? Nobody else
Yeah.
can be you. And I think we've talked about this in previous episodes too, where it's like a lot of times that you feel that you have nothing to offer, or you might feel insecure about sharing some of your knowledge or your ideas, because what if that secret sauce gets out and then I no longer have that secret thing that only I know about?
Right.
But you can share your knowledge, which will gain goodwill towards you. And then you can be confident that no one, even if they have the same knowledge of you, that same skill, they can build a Squarespace website, all those other kind of things, that you are like kind of like the secret sauce within that thing. So you can share your information confidently, knowing that no one can be you. You're the only person that can be you. So being genuine is really important.
Yeah, and I love that. We're all special snowflakes, that's
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. But
We're
it
all
but
special snowflakes.
that sound like a pep talk from a mom, like, "Hey, you just be you." But it's so true. I mean, and
Yeah.
and it does actually really help, because I remember a lot of times going into meetings and I was like, "Why do I feel so stressed?" Like, and then I realized I was like posturing, and I was like, "Oh, I need to make sure that people think like my company is really good and important," or like a lot of I even run into people like try to make their company feel bigger than it is to like be
Hmm.
impressive and stuff, which I understand that strategy. But for me, I'd rather just embrace and lean into who we are and say like, "Hey, up front, this is what it's like. This is the way we are." And then you actually attract people that care about that and that like you for who you are. And then you can just be yourself for the rest of the time. It's kind of like go on a first date and pretend to be, rich or something, and then
Yeah.
like trick somebody into dating you. But I mean, eventually that's going to come out anyway. So you might as well just be yourself up front and attract the
Right.
people that will actually like you instead of liking you for some other reason.
And that kind of leads into the fourth point, is distinctiveness. We're all about storytelling. We're all about drawing people into a story. And I think everybody has a unique story of how they got to where they are.
Hmm.
And so think about how you can express your personal brand in a unique way. You don't have to mimic anyone else. You don't have to be like somebody else. Because if you do that too, that will only increase that feeling of being an imposter, like you said, right? Like, oh, I need to make myself look like a bigger agency or a bigger company so that I can get respect. And then you kind of have this insecurity because you're trying to mimic this, agency maybe that's been around for 15, 20 years, and they have 50 people on staff and a 1,600 square foot space, and you're just a two-man show. You're trying to bolster yourself to look more impressive, but then that's just going to make you feel insecure. So just express yourself honestly. I think that'll go a long way. And then number five, visibility. You have to be seen repeatedly and consistently in order to establish an image of yourself. You may not like it, but you got to network. You got to be active around the kinds of people that you want to hire you and that you want, to be hired by. Um, and so it's that whole idea of getting yourself out there and then telling people what you do, telling people that you are a logo designer. Even if you work a day job at Best Buy and you design logos at night,
Yeah.
lead with, I design logos.
Yeah.
I'm a logo designer. Not, oh, I work at Best Buy and then, on the nights and weekends I design logos.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% agree.
And once again, the more that you're visible, the more that you're out there meeting people and being authentic, the more that people are just going to gravitate towards you. So, number six, utility. Live your brand. This should be a no brainer. Be the same person publicly that you are privately. Don't pretend to be awesome in public and then be a real jerk in private. No one likes that. We can sniff it out. So I think it's important to just to live that brand, and I think that goes into us always working on ourselves, right? I mean, reading and growing, and really pushing into the person that you want to become, and then just being authentic everywhere you go. Live that brand, Um, my wife sometimes. I don't know why I'm drawn to certain things, right? Like big white glasses. I just like them. I can't explain why, but I
Uh-huh.
do.
Yeah.
So I found this shirt. This was like last year. There's a shirt we were out shopping, and it said Sunday Fun Day, and it
Uh-huh.
was like all in these colorful like leaves and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, this shirt's awesome. My wife's like, that is stupid. That's the dumbest shirt ever. And so I was like, I'm getting it. I don't know why I like it. I just put it in the cart. So we go to check out and it's gone. I'm like, hey, where's that Sunday Fun Day shirt? She's like, you're not getting that shirt. I'm like, babe, just let me be me. Okay. So I went out, I got it. And that was like the number. Every time I wore that shirt, somebody was like, hey, Sunday Fun Day guy. I was like, see, I just gotta be me, even if it seems ridiculous to somebody else. I'm living the brand.
I love it. I love it.
So number seven is persistence. So listen, you got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to look stupid sometimes. Maybe that Sunday Fun Day shirt was a bad idea, and then you got to recognize that and pivot. But don't give up. Continue to stick with it. Ignore get rich schemes and give your brand time to grow. Kind of develop who you are. And the more that you do that, the more confidence you will have, and the better you'll feel about yourself. And I really think that the more your business will grow. And then number eight, goodwill. And this is a big one. Create a positive impact. Be kind, be positive, and pay it forward. It's really not that hard, and it's really simple. And it's one of those things that I've seen in my own business. Someone would reach out to me to say, "Hey, you were at this event. Your photographer got a bunch of awesome images. Can we buy those from you or use those for our website?" And I would just say, "Hey, yeah, here's a link. Download whatever images you want." And that would just go a long way. I mean, I've gotten clients off of just that goodwill, just me not trying to micromanage everything and try to nickel and dime everybody, but just being generous with what we do, and it's come back tenfold. So I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of that goodwill.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we try to be the same way and just kind of think anytime somebody has a request like that, and just try to be a good person, be a decent person. Not about It's not all about how much money you can make all the time. Like it's even if you do care about just the money, let's say you do care about just the money, still in the end, the long game, the smart way to do it, even if that's all you care about, is to spread goodwill and is to develop long-term relationships. Even things like I was talking to somebody the other day and they came to us like, hey, I really want to build a custom site with knapsack, and I kind of recommended. I was like, hey, I honestly feel like where you are in your business, you probably shouldn't hire us yet to do that. I would go with something simpler, like just a template or something, because you don't have all the information you need in the future. Maybe you should just start with something simple and easy, and just giving them good advice, not based on how much money we're going to make on them now, but based on like helping them be successful. Just like
Hmm.
that, like you're helping someone to be successful by giving them the images they need, not thinking about like, oh, maybe I can make a couple extra $100 here.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking out for other people and spreading goodwill. I think that's awesome. And I love this whole list because it's like you've kind of taken the idea of imposter syndrome and said the solution to imposter syndrome is to actually develop yourself so that you are actually the thing. Not It's
Hmm.
not saying, oh, just ignore that feeling, but it's actually like, yeah, consider, are you an imposter? And if you are, like, here's what you can do to check the boxes and make sure that you are living actually who you should be and who you think is important, or what you think is important and what values you care about. So I love this list.
So to recap, if you've ever felt unspecial or like a fraud, you're not alone, because a lot of us have felt that way. I've felt that way so many times. When I started coming up, learning how to shoot video and learning how to do photography, people be like, "Wow, your images are so amazing," and I'm just like, "I just put it on auto and push the button." And the truth is that it's not true, right? A lot of times shame keeps people from fessing up,
Yeah.
about their fraudulent feelings. And so know that there's a name for this feeling, this imposter syndrome, and that you're not alone. And just knowing that can just relieve a lot of stress and burdens and feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah.
And so I hope that that can give you confidence and help build your personal brand so that you can feel like you're not an imposter. So,
Yeah.
what's our
Well,
action item for this week?
So, action item is to reverse engineer yourself. Ask yourself, how do you want people to describe you, and write it down. And then the next time you're in a group, someone asks you what you do, confidently proclaim it. Say, hey, this is what I do.
Nice. I love that. All right. Well, Ben, as always, awesome getting together with you and chatting about ideas and productivity. Where can people find us?
You can go to thefridayhabit.com to find show notes for this episode. And you can also find links to our websites and ways to get in touch. And at the bottom of the page, you can go download our guide to the Friday Habit System. And that will show you how to set aside one day each week dedicated to working on your business instead of in your business.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the Friday Habit. And until next time, live every day like it's Friday.